So, first of all, as we are going to cover module 1, so we are going to start at PCEP. So here we will see that, first of all, we'll see that what is Python. So Python, nowadays everyone is, because of its syntax only, everybody is moving towards this Python. So Python, as we know, as a GK, we know that Python, it's a huge snake, if we say. So same similar to that, this Python is also very very huge. It is holding lot of things with it. Many more libraries are associated with this Python, many more modules are associated with this Python. So whatever we want to do as a developer, we can work with this Python. So this is, you can say, spread everywhere nowadays in each latest field. If you talk about artificial intelligence, if you talk about machine learning, if you talk about data science, as a data analytics, everywhere this Python is being used. Okay. Yeah. So in this module 1, we are going to learn this interpreting and the interpreter, and then we will see the compilation and the compiler. Okay. And then we'll come to next, that is Lexis, syntax and semantics. So why Python? So as we know that it's everywhere nowadays, so we are learning here. So we can say that if we talk about the drone, if we talk about robots, we talk about the satellites and the defense research or business intelligence and gaming environment, or as a web developer, web applications, APIs, everywhere we are using this Python. Okay. So it's like a magic of this 21st century. Okay. So if you will see superpower in technologies in gaming, we are having this Python. Modern architect, we have this Python. Okay. So reasons for jump in popularity. First reason, very very easy to learn it. The syntax, if we say, if we whatever we are speaking, if we are writing, if you want to write it in the words, so it will be easily execute it, and we will be able to see those words on our screen. Okay. So no need to learn any syntax prior to writing anything we want to display on our screen. Okay. Even it has very active supportive community. If we talk about NumPy, we talk about Pandas, Matplotlib, Seaborn, and many more libraries which are being used nowadays. So it's very huge, supported from corporates like uh, most of the companies will say that it is working on this Python. It is being used, that means this Python is being used by many corporate, like many different industries. Okay. And if you say it is being used in big data, AI, robotics, we have seen already, and good library support also. Okay. Now as we said, easy to learn and use, then why we are saying, so we discussed right now, that is, it is holding, it is having very simple syntax. We can write in simple words whatever we want to. If you want to do the addition, if you want to do the multiplication of numbers, if you want to print something on our screen, whatever we want to do, it is very simple to do in this Python. We can easily access it, it's freely available. If you want to install this Python, or if you want to work with different libraries, these all are freely available with this Python. Okay. We just need to install it, or we just need to import it, right? And it also execute faster, but comparatively others, it is slow because of this interpreter. It's an interpreted language. Okay. It's a general purpose language. Okay. Now coming to our Python community, if you will see, so it has been created more than 30 years back. Okay. And it has plenty of documentation. If you will see, like, it's not like that you cannot learn this Python by your own. You can. Everything, every documentation related to this Python, it's freely available over the Google. Wherever you will search it, you can see the guides is also available, and tutorials are also available for this Python language. Okay. Active community which is growing, like day by day some new libraries is being added into this Python. So if like it's not like anywhere, like now we cannot use this Python in that field. So it is everywhere nowadays. Okay. So yeah. And we already have seen that it's easily access. We can have the help document if we talk about. So everything is available. Okay. So even if you want to see any method it's not working, so we can directly open that help document directly in that ID. Okay, like we are using Jupyter Notebook, or we are using Google Colab, or we are using VS Code. So everywhere we can do it. Even we are using with this Python ID, there also we can see that help document. Okay, so one more thing I want to confirm, Ayushman, what which IDE you are having with you? Okay. Hmm. Okay, Jupyter Notebook you have, right? So can you install this VS Code with you in your system? Visual Studio Code. No, no. This the Visual Studio Code I'm talking about. VS Code. You when you will search on the Google now, Visual Studio Code, you will be able to see that directly on the. If I'll show you here, you will search Visual Studio Code. See, this one. You have to download. Mm-hmm. First. Mm-hmm. Yeah, would be better because Jupyter Notebook, anyways, we are using means we are familiar with that, but anyways we will be using this VS. It's also interesting. Okay, yeah. So then this is like what is interpreting and the what is interpreter. So interpreting is like that when someone is helping us to translate our language to a person who is not getting our language in what we are speaking. Okay, so it is like a human process, this interpreting, like whatever we are speaking, it is being translated in that language which our target person or the audience are understanding it. Okay, so there is like simultaneous interpreting, consecutive interpreting, and side translation. So simultaneous interpreting is like when whatever you are speaking and simultaneously it is being translated into another language which is being understood by the other person. Okay, and if I talk about consecutive interpreting, it's like that when a text or a paragraph you are speaking in one language, then the whole paragraph will be translated into another language to make understand others. Okay, so consecutive means where we are translating the whole paragraph which is in one language, we are translating that into another language. Okay, then hmm, yes, then the side translation is like when one person is reading something is in front of them. For an example, the legal documents are there or some medical documents are there. When a person is reading, but they are making us understand that in another language, because that the legal document or the medical documents which are in different language, but when they are reading in one language, but when they are translating it to our language, so this is what side translation. Okay, so these all are interpreting is like these all processes being done by a human, a translator. Okay, so when now same thing we have in our programming language also, which is interpreter. So interpreter is basically a software component, you can say, which is also reading the text or the code which is written in high level language into machine language. Okay, so this is doing what, this is executing the code line by line. As we know, this interpreter is a line by line execution of the code. Okay, so without using any compiler, we are not using any compiler here, but we have a compilation. What is a compilation? I'll show you. So this interpreter we are using in this Python, it is also being used in Ruby and JavaScript language also. Okay, now can you tell me one difference between this like C++ or Java? These are compiler language, and if I talk about this Python, so which one is like fast language? What would you say? Mhm. 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 Right. Hmm. Hmm. Yes, but nowadays we are using it. Yes, but one disadvantage is also there for this compiler. What is that? Hello. Disadvantage. Disadvantage. Hmm. Hmm. So debugging becomes very hard when it's a huge file. Yes. Hmm. Hmm. And it's not. Yes. Yes, even sometimes it is not easy to diagnose the issue that where we are getting and why this is the error there. So, but interpreter is like that whenever we get any error, it stop there only until we resolve that error, right? Yeah. So then we have this compilation and the compiler. So compilation basically it's a process which translates high level programming language source code into the machine code. Okay, so this compilation is a process, but this compilation process is done through a compiler. Okay, so here what it is doing, it is checking these all things like lexical analysis, syntax analysis, semantic analysis. When a high level programming language means the source code, when it is being converted into the machine code, it is keeping these things into the mind, like the lexicals, like the tokens, are they being proper used, or are we breaking the source code into proper tokens or not? Okay, like keywords, how many keywords has been used, are they right or not, the identifiers or the operators or the numbers. Okay, so it will keep these things into the minds. Then if you talk about the syntax analysis, so syntax analysis will see that are we not using, are we using keywords as an identifier, so it will raise an error. Okay, have we used that colon sign when we are defining the statements or the looping, or we are creating user defined functions? So are we using the indentations, or are we using semicolon signs? So these are like some syntax which is keeping into the mind. So when it is checking the code, so it will keep the syntax rules also into the mind during compilation. Okay, then we come into the semantic analysis. So semantic analysis will see the semantics, like did we when we are writing a function, are we writing the proper logic into it? Like if we'll say that I'm expecting it should return a number, when we are defining a user defined function, so we are returning a number, so we cannot expect a string or a float number from that function. Okay, if I say that the type if I say the data type, so data type is like that when we are writing, for an example, 5 plus 10, so it knows that there are both integers, and we it has to do the addition on those two integers. Now if we are adding one string into a number, so it knows that it's not right, we cannot do that. But if we are using asterisk sign with the string and number, like one is a string and one is a number, and between then we have a multiplication sign, so at that time it knows that there we are not going to do the multiplication, it is going to perform as a replication. Okay, so it will check that what is given or what is not. Okay, so the compiler, as I told you, this is a program which is being used to do the compilation process, which we discussed in the previous slide, in this slide. Okay, so it is you can say it's a specialized software program which is responsible for automating the compilation process which is described there. Okay, so the source code written by a programmer, which is like the high level programming language, being converted into the machine code, so the whole process is done by this compiler. Okay, so in compiler we are not having in this python, but we should know the difference. Okay, so here this compiler catch the syntax and the semantic errors, is also check the lexical errors. Okay, for an example, if I'll say that I'm writing a5, Between that, I'm not having any symbol. I return a space and then 5. So it means a lexical error would be there. You can say syntax error there would be. That is, like, I have not written any symbol between them, and if it is a variable or if it is a identifier, then we cannot create it. So this is going to be a syntax error. Okay. Now they can perform various optimization to improve the efficiency of the resulting machine code. So when we are converting this source code into machine code using this compiler, so it when it is checking these all things, syntax, semantics, lexical, whatever error it is there, it is resolving first. So what it help us to improve the efficiency of the machine code. Okay. Now what is interpreted language? So as we know right now that interpreted language is like that we are not compiling the program, we are directly converting the high level programming language into the machine instructions. Okay. But before converting the source code into the machine code, there is one more process. Let me show you that. Mm, mm, mm. Okay. So this is your, for an example. Yeah. So this is your source code. Okay. So this source code first being converted into the byte code. Okay. So when this source code is being converted into the byte code, this is what compilation. Okay. So this byte code creates a .pyc file, which is known as Python compiled file. And this is being kept into a py cache folder. Okay. Then this byte code is being converted into the machine code using the interpreter. Oh, sorry, using the PVM, that is Python virtual machine. Okay. So this process is being done by the interpreter. We are not using here, oh sorry, we are not using here this compiler. This compilation is done by the interpreter. This process is not done by the interpreter. Okay. But this bytecode is converted into the machine code using this Python virtual machine. Okay. Let me take you back here. Now, what is an interpreter? That is again, we are translating, means it is translating one line of code at a time to the machine language. Okay. It executes the converted line before moving to the next line. So for first it will execute that line, and then it will execute the next line. Okay. So by default it is available in the operating system, we are not manually downloading it. Now it takes time to complete the conversion, and it is used by Perl, PHP, Ruby, and Python. So these latest languages, they are using this interpreter. So any doubt here? Okay. Now, coming to this module 1.2, which is keywords, instructions, indentations, and the comments. So, if you will see Google Colab. Okay, so you are ready, right? Now, what you have to do the first time, you just click on this connect. Ah, okay. So, when you will click on this connect now, so it will allocate some memory to this notebook. Okay, and then after this, you just name this file from here. Okay. Hmm. So in future you want to see, so you can just directly come here and then open notebook. Okay. And you can do also one thing, you can click on this folder. This is on the left side. If you are working on this Google Colab, you can use this drive also, like you can directly save these all files into your drive. So just need to connect your drive from this third button. Okay. Okay. Let me even show you. If you will click on it now, I clicked on that and then it is asking me this permission. So I will click on this connect. So then it will ask from me which drive you want to. And you can see that it is mounting my drive. Okay. So that's the process. Now taking you back here, and I was here. Okay. So we are going to work here. Okay, so this is Visual Studio Code. What you have to do, first of all, you will click on the file, and then you will create a folder where you want these all files. Okay, so when you will install it now, I will guide you. So just need to click on that folder where you want to save these all files. So then you will be able to see that folder here. Okay, this is PCEP double A, and now I'm going to create one new file from here. Okay, now I'll say this is first day module module 1. I can't give spaces because this is the file name. So first day module 1 dot py. Okay, what happened? Okay, no problem. Okay, so I was letting you know the naming convention when we are going to create the file name here in the VS Code. So you will write any file name with some underscores or hyphen or numbers, but don't give space. Okay, and then you will use .py extension and click enter. Okay, so it is asking me to save this file here in this folder. So yeah, create this file. Okay, so we are here on this. Fine. Now we are going to see the keywords. So before keywords, I would ask to say let's work with the identifiers. Identifiers. Okay, so what are identifiers? Identifiers are nothing, these are just variables. But before creating a variable name or identifiers, we should follow some rules. As we are working with this Python language, so there are some rules to create the variables name or identifiers. Okay, so first rule is that we cannot start the var name with numbers. Okay, then we can start with underscore, with any alphabet A to Z, or with any capital alphabet, that is A to Z. Okay, we cannot use the keywords in the identifiers, yeah, as a variable. Okay, so this is again the syntactic rule would be there if we are using it, so it is going to raise the error at that time. Okay, so if I say that 1 ab equals 15. Okay, and you can see here it has been converted, this red line we can see here. Okay, even if I will run it, this is a right in the right top corner there is a run button. When you will click here, so you will see that this is a syntax error. Can you see that? Right, now if I say that ab1, so there is no problem. Okay, so if now I'll run it, so now there is no problem, this file has been executed. That was a previous error, but now I'm not having any error in this file. Okay, now this is one. If I'll say that ab underscore 1, again we can say there is no problem. Okay, we cannot write it like this, it's ab1. We have not created any variable by this name before, and if I'll run this file now, we're going to get the error that is a name error. So when we are understanding this Python, so we will focus on the errors also, like why this error is there. Okay, so it becomes easiest to resolve at that time. Okay, so now this is the error, like this is not defined because we have not created it. Okay, so here for example, now if I say ab underscore 10, then there would be no problem. So you can see now when I executed this file, I'm not getting any error here. Okay, let me delete it now. If I say that underscore a b equals 10, I'm starting a variable or identifier with this underscore, and now if I run it again, there's no problem, right? Okay, but if I say that 4 equal 10, so 4, yes, this is a keyword. So now if you see, this is again, there is a syntax error. Okay, so these are the rules. Now, one thing you will remember that Python is a case sensitive language. Okay, so if I am writing apple or apple, they both are different. Okay, so we'll keep that into mind. So I'll comment this error for now. So these are identifier rules. Now coming to keywords. So keywords, there are before it was 32, then last when I checked, I think it was 36. Let's see. So what we have to do, we have to import the keyword. Okay, so we will import the keyword, and then we will see keyword dot kw list. Okay, so when you will run it, okay, why I didn't means I am not able to see any output on my screen because I have not. Yes, I have not printed it on my screen. But if we are using this in Collab or Jupyter Notebook, then it's not necessary that we are going to use this print statement at that time. Right there, we are not getting any console. So to print anything on our console on our terminal, so we are using this print statement. So now we are able to see, right? But this way, I'm not able to count like how many are there. So what we can do? Should, yes. Right. So len of this. Hmm. No, as such, like there in the Google Colab, we are having that output point there also, the output cell where we can see the output. But this is a console, like this is offering a terminal to us where we can see this. Yeah. Either ways, anyways, these are different IDs. Like wherever we want to, for an example, if, but point is like everywhere we are not using this Google Colab. If we talk about any industry, IT industry, they would be using either Spider or PyCharm or Visual Studio Code or maybe Jupyter Notebook also. So it depends on their requirements or if they are feeling comfortable more with these all IDs. So they are using anyone. Even PyCharm, I think it is similar to it only. This VS Code, right? Okay, so this is. So, did you observe any difference, Ayushman? Hmm. Hmm. Right. Even I think for privacy purpose also they can have this VS Code or PyCharm. I think there are paid versions also for that, for their privacy. If I'm not wrong, because I'm always using these free versions. These are freely available. But if I talk about in respect of companies or industries, so I think so they are using paid version for security and privacy purposes. Yes. Hmm. No, no, I was not. Yeah, yeah, I was asking the difference that only like this is a free tool. Free, anyways, VS is also free. Jupyter is also, Anaconda is completely free. Even Spider is also free. But I am saying that when we are concerned about the privacy and the security, so I think there are paid versions are also available. So they are going with that. So Google Colab, it's like accessible by everybody. So this is not like we are. Keeping, we can keep the code safe there. Okay. Mm, so now if these are like I'm commenting it, and I'll take you this. So this was okay. That was we discussed the keywords and the identifiers. Okay. Now instructions. So anything we are writing, if even I'm writing, print. So this is what, this is an instruction I'm giving to my console or to my output, like what I want. Like, so hello, welcome to Python what. So this is what, this is kind of instruction, or you can say this is a Python statement. Okay, so now when I'll run it, so this will be, we can see directly on our screen. Okay, so that much easy it is. Now if I talk about the comments, so comments is like, if it is a single line comment, so you can directly put this hash symbol in front of that statement. But if you want to write that multi-line yes. No, we don't use it here. It is in, we use in SQL. Or maybe in other language, but in Python we use this triple quotes. Yeah, yeah. So this is like hello Python, or you can say anything inside it. Okay, so this is like, this is a multi-line comment. So this multi-line comment basically we use in doc strings. Doc string is like when we are creating our modules or libraries, so there they are keeping this doc string for us. Doc string, like when we are finding any help documentation regarding to that data structure or any method or any function, at that time it displaying the doc string, like what this function can do, or what this data structure can do, or what this class can do. So at that time this is there, this doc string. So any developer, they are using this triple quotes. And triple quotes we are using for multi-line comments also, like whenever we are writing this any function, whenever we are writing or creating any program, for our reference also, if you want to write something about that program initially, okay, or in between also, so we can use this triple quotes. Okay, triple quotes, or even you can triple times this double quotes. Again, it is for multi-line comment. Okay, so this is multi-line comment. Okay, even I'll comment, if I'll say mm, mm, mm. So see, this is my multi-line comments. Okay, so even this is not visible on my screen here, but when you will execute this in your Google Colab, na, this will be visible. You can try. Hmm. Even in Jupyter Notebook also, that is output, where we are getting the output in the cell. So there we can see that this will be visible to you at the time. Yeah. Okay. So we have seen like how many keywords. So we checked that how many, did you notice that how many are there? We did there were 35, I think. uh yeah, I need to uncomment it. Mm. Yeah, see, there are 35. Okay, so this is the way to check the keywords in our Python. So instruction, as I told you, now comments like whenever you are defining the parameters or defining the arguments or defining the functions or variables, so it's a good practice according to Python developer. Whenever you are writing the program, so just keep the comments there. So if any person in a team, if you are working on, at that one day you are on holiday and the other person is going to access your program, so at them there should be comment, so he can easily understand whatever is being done in the program, and then he can move ahead accordingly. Okay, so now I'll tell you. mm, if I say so yeah, so now if I say that this is a variable a, that is 10. Now if I'm saying that a is equals to, it's a I have written a word in the double quotes or single quotes, anyways it's a string. Okay, so here I said a is 10, we know it's integer. And if I'm saying here this is a equals hello, so what is it, is a string. Okay, so if I will run it, so what would you say, what output are we going to get it on the screen? If I say print a, So it will be hello. Why it would be hello? I have assigned 10 also to my. Hmm. Exactly. Yeah, it is not being replaced means now I have assigned this hello to this a variable, right? So I'm getting this. Let me run it, and we can see now it's hello on our screen, right? So this is known as dynamic typing. This is a very nice feature of this Python, which makes it more popular, where we are not letting this Python know or this interpreter know that this is an integer type or this is a string type. It is automatically understanding the data type of the variables, right? So that's why we can say this is a dynamic typing. Now if I want to check that what is the type of this a, so when I'll run this, and I will just keep this statement just after this integer also, and let's see. So you can see that when I'm checking this type of a, so it is letting me know that this is integer class, and after assigning hello word or hello string to this a variable, I'm getting this a string class. Okay. Now what do you say that if I'm assigning a variable, a value to this variable a, so are we storing a variable also into the memory? Yes. Okay. Mm-hmm. Hmm. 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 Right. So if I say that this 10, okay. So when I'm, see, when I'm saying this a, I'm not assigning every value to this variable a. So at that time, it is going to raise an error. What it will say? It will say it's a name error. It has not been defined, right? But as I assign a value to this variable, this 10, so this Python is doing what? This is assigning a memory to this value. So means this value is in memory. Okay. So after assigning this value to a variable, this memory also attached to this variable a. So this a is not in the memory. This value is in the memory. Okay. So now when initially when I assigned value 10, so the ID was 101. But if I'll say this hello, and then I assign this also, so this a is pointing to this value hello, right? So when we do check the IDs of it, that is print. So there is one method that is ID of a. So this is you can say to check the memory or to check the identity of the variable or value. Let me write here that hello. Okay. Now if I run it, so you will see the memory location or the identity of that value, or you can say of that variable. Okay, even you can write here that ID of a, you will see both are same. So see, these both are same, right? Okay. Now when I'm writing this, I'm writing this. Okay. So I'm not having, I didn't keep anything between these two, like ID of hello, I got this, right? And then ID of a also, I got this answer, but got one space. Why the space is there? What do you say? Comma? No. If I even reduce it, and if I show you now, then again save. Hmm. So by default, here there is an argument, that's this sep argument. Can you see that? Separator. So separator is there in the argument. When we are using this print statement, it is holding one single space. So it works like whenever we are having comma between two variables, it will automatically take a space. But if we don't want that space, so in the quotes you can write hyphen, comma, colon, anything you want to. Okay. For example, I want to use triple commas. So now if I'll run it and see. So anything you want to keep between it, it will work accordingly. Okay. Now if I'll say, whenever I'm executing this print statement, I'm executing this print statement, but every time this is a new line. Why so? Whenever I'm printing anything on my screen, like this print type A and ID of A, I'm getting the answers in the different new line. Why so? Yes. The one more argument is there, that is end. Okay. Again, this is like holding a backslash n. So backslash n means new line. Whenever this print statement is there, and after that also you want to print something on the screen, so this is a new line being appended at the end. Okay. If for an example I don't want to append the new line, so whatever is there after this print statement will be just after it. So for an example, I'll use uh, exclamation hyphen. Okay. So let me just cut it from here and paste it here. Okay, so what are you expecting now? What should be the answer? Hmm. Yeah. So here I have passed the separator. Is the separator going to work with this also? No. Right. Now let's see. Why? Definitely not, because this separator is going to work with this print statement only wherever we have the comma. Right? But this end is like to append the new line. But here we are not appending the new line. We are just using this exclamation hyphen. This is right. Okay. Now, if I'll say that print hello, comma, and I'm using one variable here, that is name and that is instrument. Okay. Now I have used a string here and I'm using here name. What would you say? What should be the answer? Will we get the space in between them now? Before those two were IDs we were using. Now what would you say? Hmm. It is hello space. Anyways, no problem. Whatever you are doing, either you are using string or either you are using variables, comma separated values or variables, right? No problem. A separator will work on the same whatever it is doing. Okay. Now, one more way to write this print statement. We have this f string. Okay, f string will, whatever we want to write in this f string, we will write in double quotes. Even we want to take the variable name, so we use this triple this flower brackets, square brackets, or not square, this curly, yeah, sorry, this curly brackets. Okay, so here when we are using this f string and we are using this the character or the word you would want to display on the screen, and then the variable value. So we will keep that variable value in the curly brackets and it will automatically pick up the value. Let's see. For uh, till here, let me comment and let me uncomment it and see. So, anyways, There is no difference in these two. This is actually the new way, you can say that. Before, you can say, as a programmer or developer, a long back, we were using simple print statements, but now we have this format also, dot format, and then we have this f string. So this is the latest way to write any statements on the screen using this f string. Okay, so being used more, you can say that. Anyways, we can modify it, and the same way we can take the output as we are writing here using f string. Okay, both are working same way, but we need to use just f string only. We are not using any comma. We don't want comma between them, because we are, whatever we are writing here will be taken into the output. If I use comma here, now this comma would be a part of this double quote, this string, right? Now if I run, yes, so comma would be there. Okay. So, is it fine for today now? Mm. Yeah. So we discussed about the compiler. We discussed about the interpreting and the interpreter. Then we discussed that how compilation process is working here in this Python. First of all, the source code is converted into the bytecode, and that bytecode is holding this .pyc file which is being created, and this is known as Python compiled file, which is being kept into this pycache folder. There, same, there, wherever we are creating any file. And like, let's say we are creating the library or modules now. So I'll show you this, if we will work on that. So in pcap, I think we will work. So at that time you will see this .pyc file. Okay, and then this bytecode will be converted into machine code using this Python virtual machine. Okay. Mm, what, Ayushman? Yes, the whole done by interpreter, right? Then we understood that why Python, what is the reason. So these are the reasons. This is everywhere nowadays. Then we see that this why, like, what are the reasons. So we have seen like it's easy to learn, and everywhere it's there in most applications we are using, as a developer, as a gaming developer, as a web developer, we are using it. Okay, it's easy to debug, easy to diagnose the issues. Even it is slow, but there are many more benefits also. And if you say the Python community, so everything is freely available. Even whatever the IDs we want to work, freely we can install it in our system according to our system requirement. Okay, then this is, we done the compilation compiler, and then we discussed about this keywords, instructions, indentations, and the comments. Okay, so that's the conclusion of this class.